So good evening, everybody. My name is Laura Diaz, and I will be your facilitator today. So with me is also my colleague, Keisha. She will be supporting you with everything in the chat. So she will be able to answer your questions in the chat and put some links that we needed. Also, they are going to add this questionnaire for the evaluation for today. So I'm so excited now to introduce our presenters for this workshop, that is Deborah, Montoya, Vanessa López, and Lupita Olguin-Rubio. Give it an applause, and let's start. Let me pass the microphone so we can enjoy this presentation. So don't forget, microphones will be turned off, and every question, please just write it down in the chat. Thank you so much and enjoy.
Thank you so much, Laura. Thank you, Gabe, for this opportunity to present and share some information regarding our SELPA content lead, which is sponsored by the California Collaborative for Educational Excellence and CDE, our California Department of Education. Our grant work is improving outcomes for English learners with disabilities, and I'm Dr. Deborah Montoya, and with me I have Lupita Olguin-Rubio as well as Vanessa López, and together we share a wealth of information and expertise in the field of English learners and English learners with disabilities. And we wanted to take this opportunity to share the work and the support that we can provide statewide. Imperial County SELPA is in the Imperial County, which is in the very southeast corner bordering Mexicali, Mexico-Oaxaca, and Arizona, Yuma, Arizona. So although we are very southeastern, by the beauty of Zoom, we're able to connect with many of you statewide and offer support in our specific area. And we are part of the greater California state system of support. There are other SELPA content leads with focus regarding serving children with autism, assistive technology, and universal design for learning, as well as AAC services, as well as South County SELPA, which focuses on equity and disproportionality. Our focus in Imperial County and the statewide system of support, again, is improving outcomes for English learners with disabilities. And our work is focused in the fact that in California, we know that of all students who are English learners, there is a group there of English learners who are students who are dually identified, English learners whom also have a disability. So you can see from this chart there, of all English learners, about 28% are English learners with an IEP. So they have an established eligibility category and have been noted as a student with a disability. So although we know that being an English language learner is not a disability, so having a first language and a second language, again, is part of many of our students' lives, but that is not a disability in and of itself. And yet we have many students who have been assessed and identified to also have a disability. As we look at our students and we take into consideration over time, we see that there has been a growth in English learners with disabilities. So as you saw earlier, between 25 to 28% of English learners are students with IEPs. We started out somewhere very different, which is a concern statewide. When we look at all of the respective LCFF groups for our students who are low income, foster youth, and English learners, and we know that some of our English learners are also low income, foster youth, and students with an IEP. We seek to work with each other as collaborative partners to identify ways that we can support the various needs of our students, as every student is very different and unique. But as we focus our attention here on English language learners who are also students with IEPs, that ranges within 25 to 20% of all English learners in California. And as we want to ensure that as we look at this number, so our latest data is 26% of all English learners are students with an IEP. What that means for us when we look at that data a little bit more closely is that our Hispanic and Latino communities, we are at times noted as over-identified. And that's something that we hope to look at and identify is, are we potentially statewide over-identifying English learners as having a disability? So the work that we do is to have those conversations and to explicitly work with our community to identify our students who are not primary English speakers. Are they receiving all of the core and basic services that they need to be successful in our educational system prior to being identified as a student with a disability? And you can see there, of all of our English learners, predominantly primary language is Spanish. We also know that in California, the category of disability, of specific learning disability, is where we see the majority of our students who have an IEP, who have been identified as a student with a disability. We then look deeper at this number and identify that sometimes, not always, but there are many times that mistakenly our English learners might be identified as a student with a specific learning disability when in fact they are still learning and progressing and developing English language proficiency skills. And that's why our work gives us an opportunity to have more conversations and to work with school districts and SELPAs to understand that all students with and without disabilities are unique. All students have the ability to learn, and all students have relative strengths and abilities. And we in the educational system are here to work together to serve and support our students and make growth given their unique needs. With that, we put on an equity lens that all of our students will be able to have access to curriculum and instruction that's rigorous, that meets their needs, that is supported through accessibility and tools. But then we also take this focus of English language proficiency and then disability category, as we have students who again are English language learners and who also have a disability. And we focus on what is that child's true disability, their unique disability, and how can we support their needs both as an English language learner and ensure access to comprehensive ELD and supportive structures, and disability category, so that we match the services and supports that we need and that we work together as special educators and also our EL specialists and general educators together to ensure that our English learners with disabilities are served in the least restrictive environment with their non-disabled peers and receive basic core services. So again, we adjust our lens a little bit to ensure that equity, specifically looking at our English learners and our English learners with disabilities. So our work, the Imperial County SELPA, in the statewide system of support, our focus is improving outcomes for English learners with disabilities. Our work is based in the California Practitioner's Guide for Educating English Learners with Disabilities, which is a resource which was developed by many experts in the field, both contributing partners from the EL division, which is now the multilingual division at CDE, and the special education division at CDE, and together working with experts in the field, practitioners. And our charge in our content lead grant is to assist with the dissemination and training surrounding the facets of the California Practitioner's Guide. So having said that, we provide professional development, technical assistance, and implementation of equitable pathways. So we help teams work together to identify where there might be further needs, where perhaps all the way from assessment to referral process to reclassification, as we look at, again, where are the needs of the community and how we can best support our English learners with disabilities. It truly is a team approach where we ask that both general educators, EL specialists, and special educators work together as teams to look at potentially problems of practice, to also support and help refine. There are many good practices, and how can we highlight those practices to continue to build upon and support our students, knowing that they have unique language and learning needs of English learners with disabilities. So by doing so, we connect and coordinate professional development for SELPAs, school districts, and COEs, working together based on the California Practitioner's Guide, the EL Roadmap, the EL Principles, the California ELD Standards, and again, how we can ensure full access for English learners with disabilities. So as we build capacity in the bigger structures, we hope that we will pass it forward, that as we learn more about English learners with disabilities, that we again will then work with school sites, and school sites will then work with their individual teams. And we also facilitate collaborative commitments and support. So if it's not us providing the training, we will find other experts in the field as well that can assist and support you in your respective region in California, so that again, we can spread the word and ensure that we again build those collaborative commitments and lean in and lean into our experiences together, so that we can continue to learn about the needs of our communities and assist students who are English learners with disabilities. We do have a resource that helps again with information regarding our content lead work. I'm going to drop it in the chat for you now, so you have that accessible to you, and that takes you to our website and this resource, which talks again, it speaks to the work that we do in our Improving Outcomes for English Learners with Disabilities project, as well as links to our website, which we'll explore a little bit later in this session. So as I mentioned, our work is built from a foundational resource, which is available to all of us, which is the California Practitioner's Guide, the QR on your screen. If you go ahead and take a snapshot of that, it will take you to the California Practitioner's Guide for Educating English Learners with Disabilities. Again, as we use this resource to help us build best practices in the field in ensuring that all English learners with disabilities receive the services and supports that are needed and afforded to them. So with that, the California Practitioner's Guide is broken up into 5 sections. And within each of the sections are their respective chapters. So the first section, identification of English learners. So from pre-referral strategies, as we consider core services, which includes comprehensive ELD for all English learners, and ensuring that we identify language needs prior to referral to special education, which then goes to section 2, pre-referral and assessment processes, assuring that we conduct assessments that are valid and reliable and culturally and linguistically appropriate and linguistically sensitive to our students. So again, that we ensure that our assessments are valid and comprehensible, and we don't over-identify students. In addition, section 3, focusing on educational programs and instructional strategies. And this section does truly focus on the development of the IEP, considerations for primary language, considerations for accessibility, and teaching and instruction to ensure we meet the learning needs of English learners with disabilities. Followed by section 4, possible proposed exit from special education services for students who may have been misidentified as a student with a disability. And then lastly, section 5, focusing on reclassification from English learner status. So as we again want to ensure that students receive services, we also know that our students may have the ability to reclassify from English learner status again if they have met their needs. And there's a link on that page to an infographic, and later we'll take you to that page on our website. But I want to hand it over to Lupita on our team, and she's going to continue with some more information on our work.
Thank you, Debbie. It's an honor to be here at GABE. Although virtually, it's still very much exciting for me as a GABE member and a longtime advocate for multilingualism. On that note, I want to bring to our attention the California English Learner Roadmap. Many of you are probably familiar with this document, the statewide policy that embraces, values, and supports multilingualism statewide. What I want you to know right off the bat is the California English Learner Roadmap and its principles are woven into all the sections and chapters of the California Practitioner's Guide for Educating English Learners with Disabilities. Assets-based, accessible, equitable, effective, and purposeful are key concepts that describe the charge of the EL Roadmap and its principles. And it's important for us to recognize and work around the California Practitioner's Guide, knowing that through the work of the Practitioner's Guide, we're able to implement many of the key ideas in the roadmap. Because all our professional development modules and customized professional development series are designed around the Practitioner's Guide, we have had the opportunity to support the implementation of the roadmap through our grant work activities. in support of all our English learners and particularly our English learners with disabilities. Next slide, please. Up to date, this has been our impact. Our original delivery design was live and virtual professional development, using Zoom as our virtual platform way before it was a need to. When it became necessary to shift to all virtual training and support, we were able to stay the course with this, our goal in mind, to build capacity, connect and facilitate collaborative commitments in support of English learners with disabilities. All our professional development recordings and resources are available to anyone and everyone, and everybody here and your colleagues have direct access to all of these professional development modules on our website. They can be used individually or pieced apart and customized at your whatever's relevant to you, to be used with PLCs, sites, IEP teams, etc. Please take a look at our website. Vanessa's going to give us a closer walkthrough towards the end of our presentation, and become familiar with the many resources we have. And please let us know if there's something that's not there that you really think that you need. Next slide, please. Throughout this past year, we've had the privilege of establishing partnerships with several SELPAs, County Office of Education, and local education agencies, and created and delivered targeted professional development series. These logos represent those partnerships. Data collected after each of these sessions has helped us target and address the unique needs and as the sessions progressed, as well as informed our practices and helps us guide how we design and deliver future professional development opportunities. So yes, we do provide professional development based on the practitioner's guide, its sections, its chapters, its resources. However, we are very happy and open and excited about providing customized professional development to meet the unique needs of each of our partners and organizations. Next slide, please. Our focus and charge has been and will continue to be to assist in connecting resources, building capacity, and building collaborative partnerships in support of English learners with disabilities statewide. These are the partnerships that we have been working with and hope to continue to as we grow and we move forward in the next few years of this grant work. We hope that we continue to make partnerships and that we get to meet you more personally as we move forward with this work. Next slide, please. I want to highlight this quote from the Practitioner's Guide that truly captures our charge of our grant work, improving outcomes for English learners with disabilities. We believe that together we can do better. And in our efforts to do so, we invite you to join us in the collective effort to address and improve the educational services we strive to provide for English learners with disabilities statewide. And on that note, I'm going to hand it over to my friend and colleague, Vanessa, who's going to walk us through the many resources we already have available for you on our website. Vanessa.
Thank you, Lupita. Hello, everybody. I'm super excited to be here at CABE, always following the work and the efforts put forth by the organization. This is truly a treat. So before I get into the layout of this particular slide, I want to give you an understanding of a little bit of our background or origin story, if you will. So Lupita, Debbie, and I bring varied perspectives to the team. So we wanted our team to model the work, the resources, the tools that we want to put out to practitioners. Between the three of us, Debbie has been a school psychologist, special education director, principal for a school program. Lupita is our ELD expert, EL expert, has been here at our county office for many years, delving deep into areas of need. And I myself have been a special education teacher, an English language learner coach, and an instructional technology coach over the past 18 years. So together we bring these different lenses when we look at really improving outcomes for English learners with disabilities, those students who are dually identified. With that in mind, we've really tried hard in really developing, searching, culling, collecting, and really just vetting some of the resources that we found were the most useful in addressing the specific needs of the intersection of English language proficiency and disability category. As you can see, this slide has a visual representation of the layout of our website. In a couple of minutes, I'm going to walk you through the actual website, but I want to give you an idea as far as what we have present and available for you to access. By clicking on these live links, the very top banner will direct you to our landing page. If you take a look at the rectangles right below it, we have a video walkthrough which does just that. It is a recorded video tour of what you will find in our website and how to navigate from one tabbed section to the other. Also, within our resources, you will find recorded training modules. These training modules run the gamut from the administration of assessments for locally determined alternate assessments to CASP resources and LPAC resources for accommodations and providing accessibility resources to the CLIM matrix and etc. These training modules are available for you to watch free of charge. They are recorded and shareable. They also are linked to accompanying resources that are specific to the training modules recorded. Here you will also find a link to the practitioner's guide in its entirety, but also to the document itself broken up into a variety of segments, whether it be sections and or chapters. Additionally, you can also find infographics that will help support some of your practitioner needs as you really seek out to help students achieve outcomes. Next slide, please. We're going to spend some time looking at some of the resources. So if Lupita or Debbie, if you could drop a link into the chat as soon as I open up my website so that I can share my screen and walk participants through this section. So let me go ahead and share my screen. I'm hoping I'm sharing the appropriate one. Can you see our website page? Okay, fantastic. So our website is housed within our Imperial County SELPA website. You will access our resources by following the banner up across the top and hovering over this third section. As you can see, a drop-down menu pops up, which will give you an option to access training modules, opportunities, resources, and newsletters, highlights, along with announcements. I want to call your attention first to the training modules. In case you're interested in some of the topics that we've touched upon when sharing with you the breakdown of the California Practitioner's Guide, whether it be identification as an English learner to pre-assessment, referral, IEP development, reclassification, etc., we have recorded a variety of videos right here. So by clicking on training modules, our page will pop up with our pre-recorded training videos. These, as I mentioned before, come with a direct link to materials and resources. So for example, here at the top of our page, we have an introduction to the California Practitioner's Guide, which is a little bit longer, maybe a little bit longer than the one today. You may have some access to some resources here as well. You can click and it'll open up. And again, as mentioned before, the resources that are available here to you are perfectly shareable, whether it be with a peer, a PLC, or any work group that you might be collaborating with. We also have a variety of topics like literacy development for English learners with disabilities, UDL for English learners with disabilities, co-teaching, as well as a presentation from Tim Tipton on improving outcomes for English learners, dealing specifically with pre-referral and referral, along with assessment of English learners with significant cognitive disabilities, all the way to literacy development and students with learning disabilities who are English learners, and the CLIM matrix if these are areas that interest you. Scrolling back to the top of the page, by hovering back on this purple banner under training opportunities, you will find opportunities to train in the future and also past trainings to inform as far as outcomes go. This again is a useful tool if you're looking at researching specific topics and you want to match some goals, some ideas as what your team might want to really look into. This is a great area to go to. Where you're going to find a vast amount of resources is in the resources guide. You will have the practitioner's guide, FAQs, EL roadmap, ELD standards and framework, additional resources, LPAC specific resources, SPAC specific resources, and infographics. I want to take you to the California Practitioner's Guide. The Practitioner's Guide, again, is the anchor to a lot of the work that we do, and it really is the core of what we do. So what we've taken is we've taken our 492 Practitioner's Guide for educating English learners with disabilities, and we've broken it up into sections and chapters. So again, as mentioned earlier, depending on what your area of interest is, whatever your PLC might want to learn a little bit more on, you can look at sections or specific chapters. If I know that I am interested in developing an IEP, I know that I'm going to go to Section 3, Education Programs and Instructional Strategies, Chapter 5, Developing an IEP for English Learners. If my area of interest is more related to reclassification from English learner status, then I would go to Section 5, Chapter 9. Again, providing multiple entry points to practitioners is key in our development of resources, as we know that we have different entry points depending on our field of expertise or whatever groups it is that we are supporting, whether it be as part of a multidisciplinary team or in just developing instructional strategies, pedagogy, whatever that may be as we are working with students who are dually identified. If we keep scrolling down, we come to the appendices. The appendices, again, are pulled directly from the California Practitioner's Guide. What we've done is we've broken them apart as individual files that are downloadable, fillable, savable, and printable. If you're looking to conduct an English learner classroom observation checklist, there is one already developed in the California Practitioner's Guide. Simply click, download locally or in your location of choice, and fill out and save and or print depending on your need. Also, we have included the different figures identified in each of the chapters. If you're looking to find the direct page, simply click on the link and it will take you to the figure itself and the page of the Practitioner's Guide where it is found. Returning to the top portion of the purple banner, resources, and under the Practitioner's Guide, we have our FAQs. In our FAQ section, you will find just that. These are frequently asked questions, really organized by chapter. If you have frequently asked questions regarding supports for English learners within the MTSS framework, click here and it will take you to those questions. If you are more wondering about questions that are related to reclassification of students from English learner status, click on the Chapter 9 heading and it will take you directly to that. If you'd like additional information that is not perhaps contained within the responses here, simply click on this live link and it will direct you to the chapter where these questions are answered if you'd like additional information. Returning to the top portion of our menu, I want to direct your attention to the resources tab again. And now let's skip over the EL roadmap, ELD standards and framework, and go into additional resources. I am not skipping over them because they're not important. They have incredible resources that are central to the work that we do. However, I really want us to spend some time with some of the additional resources that we've included here in this tab. So on this tab, we have a website and resources navigation tour video. If after our time together here is done and you want a quick reminder of where to find things in our website, because it's sometimes hard to get to resources no matter how many breadcrumbs we drop to for our breadcrumb trail, this is a great place to go to be reminded where to find some of the resources. So by clicking play on this video right here, you will get a quick virtual tour. Also, what you can find here on this page is just a lot of Padlets that we've developed over the past couple of months as we've delved deep into Zoom training virtually due to our current restrictions as far as getting together. You will find a variety of Padlets from the assessment of English learners for special education eligibility, distance learning, and English learners with disabilities, and some videos, as well as links to our partners in the California statewide system of support, SELPA content leads from Captain's Evidence-Based Practices, the Equity, Disproportionality, and Design Team, Open Access, System Improvement Leads, and other collaborative partners and resources that support improving outcomes for English learners with disabilities. Returning to the top section, I want to call your attention to our infographics. Our infographics section is one where you can find printable, downloadable infographics, as well as electronically available infographics with live links. One of the first infographics that we developed in collaboration and partnership with another SELPA content lead is the one related to supporting the needs of English learners who are on the autism spectrum. So this was developed with Captain, and it's in alignment of evidence-based practices, the EBPs for English learners and students with autism spectrum disorders. You can find here that we've used ELSWD strategies, such as leveraging background knowledge, and align them with evidence-based practices for autism spectrum disorder. Additionally, as you take a look at some of these links, these are live links, as I mentioned, you need to pop open the document though. And when you pop open the document, the PDF itself will have the live link. This will direct you to the Affirm modules on video modeling. So again, live links once you open the electronic PDF, and that will allow you to access all of those resources. I'm going to stop share so I can go back into the slide deck. And again, as mentioned earlier, if you want a virtual video tour, you can go to the page on our website that we highlighted, or you can access this document. This document maps out 5 stops to help you meet the needs of English learners with disabilities, and it takes you directly to our training modules, FAQs, practitioner's guide, Padlets, and the video tour as well. You may click on the links that are included here on this yellow portion. It will link you to our infographics page. If you click on this document, I believe it'll take you directly to the document itself. And again, it's a visual, downloadable, shareable page that will give you 5 critical stops for navigating our website as you seek to improve outcomes for dually identified students. I want to remind you that we always want friends. We're always looking for friends. So tweet us. We're on Twitter under the handle EL_SWD. If you see or hear something you like, if you find a resource that really resonates with you, go ahead and share it out and use our hashtags, hashtag improving outcomes, hashtag ELSWD, hashtag collective commitment. We're always looking to build our friend pool, to communicate, to collaborate, to connect with you. So please, 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 please follow us, and we promise to follow you back. With that, I really want to thank you for your time and attention this late in the afternoon. We're hoping that the resources and the information that we shared with you made it worth your while. Please feel free to visit us at our website to register for upcoming events. Go ahead and visit our training opportunities link included here, or you can email us at improvingoutcomes_EL_SWD@icoe.org, or as I mentioned, tweet us. We're always happy to connect with you and to engage in conversations as we engage in our collective commitment to improve outcomes for English learners with disabilities.
Thank you, Vanessa and Lupita. And we still have a little bit of time left, so we did want to encourage, if anyone had any questions that you'd like to ask of us, feel free to unmute and ask any questions. And again, we added all of the links into the chat boxes. You may find different resources that resonate with you and that you feel are needed in your respective group. Always, again, know that our email is an easy way to connect with us, as well as our Twitter. So we'll wait a bit to see if there are any questions.
Don't be shy, feel free to unmute. We love talking.
There's a great question in the chat box about, are there sections for general ed teachers for classroom strategies? And I would say absolutely yes. Section 1 of the California Practitioner's Guide reviews both the multi-tier system of support as well as UDL. Understanding comprehensive ELD is part of core. So if you're seeking tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 supports, which is all prior to special education, I would definitely starting with section 1 and the 3 chapters that make up section 1 is a great place to start. If you work with student study teams and you're having conversations about, is this an appropriate referral for special education? Or how can we assist our English learners with making and ensuring full access to core? Definitely section 1 of the California Practitioners Guide. But I would say throughout the entire resource, it's always meant to be in partnership, general ed and special ed together, working together to support our students who are English learners with disabilities. There's also a question regarding recommended model for delivering designated supports to ELs with disabilities. Much of the work that we also focus on in chapter 3 as we discuss the IEP and students who are already identified with a disability, we encourage teams to work together to talk about accommodations and how students with disabilities can be served and be supported in general education, ELD services, designated ELD with like peers. So based on their English language proficiency and their LPAC scores, how, again, are they progressing through English language development and the English language development standards? Could they receive that protected time with their gen ed peers and ensuring they have the accommodations to support them in that general education ELD environment? Some students, because of their disability needs, may need to be served in the special education environment for designated ELD. But again, we would first look to least restrictive environment and meaningful access in general education. So you may want to review the LPAC accessibility checklist as well as the accommodations and how those accommodations can be provided in the classroom during designated ELD and general ed. Some offerings for newcomers. Lupita, maybe you want to take that question for newcomers. And we do have on one of our Padlets, the aligning and designing. One of the columns is in relation to assisting our newcomers.
Right. Well, we currently don't have anything specifically for newcomers. However, the practitioner's guide does take into consideration all the different facets of the different types of English learners. And so if it's something that you are interested in, this is an invitation to give us a call, shoot us an email. We're very happy to have a conversation with you and customize something to meet your specific needs. So please, looking forward to that.
And we can keep taking questions, but I know from prior experience that like once time's up, they just close up the room. So we'll keep talking if you keep talking.
And we love the questions in the chat. Don't see any more questions in the chat. Don't be shy. Please know that, again, as we assist and support, and we do provide professional development statewide, silver linings of everything that's occurring is that we're able to connect with so many more of you in the field as we, again, continue to participate via Zoom with SELPAs, their districts, COEs. And again, the more that you work in PLCs, we highly encourage teamwork again. And the Padlets are available via the additional resources link. I'll put it in the chat one more time. There is a Padlet there regarding, thank you, Lupita. It is regarding assessments, and then we have one via distance learning for English learners with disabilities, and I think aligning and designing. Goal writing, that's a great question. We often do provide support regarding writing linguistically appropriate goals and objectives. I would say visit our training modules website, and we do have a series that's titled Day 1, Day 2, and Day 3, and I believe it's the Day 2 series, where Vanessa walks through the development of a linguistically appropriate goal, where we take into consideration both the ELD standards and the EL level of proficiency, as well as Common Core state standards. So we write goals that address both needs, not a separate ELD goal, but a goal that again integrates both the ELD need, the English language development need, as well as the need as it results to the unique disability. And that's in our training modules portion of our website. Let me put that one back in the chat. So here is the link that will take you to, oops, not that link, our training modules.
Also know that we're constantly updating our additional resources page as we develop and deliver professional development and create Padlets. They live in that additional resource page, landing page on our website. So what we have now will be updated probably within the next few days, just because we've had quite a few trainings recently.
And every training module on our website, again, as Vanessa mentioned, has all of the resources that you can download and reuse as you see appropriate, that you can watch the videos. And then if you feel that you'd like to get a certificate of completion of any of those videos, just email us. There's a link there, and then we will send you a certificate that you've completed and viewed that particular segment. And some of them are as short as 90 minutes and some are as long as 6 hours. So again, you can look at all of the offerings that are on our website.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for having all this information for us today. So I invite you to go to the next sessions, everybody, and let's move forward, and please visit the exhibit hall. You know, there is where you're gonna get all the raffles tickets, okay? So go there, cash in a good dance tonight also, okay? So see you later. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank
everybody.
you. Take care. Thank you.